Welcome to another episode of Constant Science. This is Don from Explosions Incorporated, and this handsome fellow is Fred, the iguana. Now, before I explain to you why I've got Fred here with me, I just want to say that Aaron has a super busy summer coming up, so you may not be hearing too much from him over the next couple of months. I will try to keep posts up myself. I am kind of busy as well, but chances are you're going to be looking at my ugly face for most of the summer's Constant Sciences. Now for Fred. Fred here is a baby male iguana. See, my wife's a veterinarian, and so we're kind of a halfway house for animals. They come and they go and they live with us for a little while, and Fred just arrived last night. And look how cute he is. He's so cute. He's so tiny and so small. He's got a really long tail though, but he is just so very cute, even with that little piece of lettuce hanging out of his mouth. Now, I brought Fred today because I wanted to talk a little bit about the science of cuteness. Yeah, there is such a thing as the science of cuteness. Hold on, let me put him away really quick. There you go. There you go. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, science of cuteness. As it turns out, some scientists have actually looked into what makes things cute and maybe why we find things cute in the first place. And as it turns out, generally what we humans find cute is not necessarily just the size. I mean, kittens are really cute because of how small they are. Like this one right here. This is a little girl. She's living with us for a while too. Little girl is very, very tiny, and that is part of what makes her cute. But really, what makes her cute is check her out. It's her proportions. It's not the fact that she's small. It's the fact that her head is really big compared to the rest of her body. Her legs are really stubby compared to the rest of her body. Think of this kitten, and then think of a human baby or a human toddler, the kind of people, humans that we find cute. Big heads in relation to their bodies, big eyes in relation to their big heads, and shorter arms and legs. When you're a human, your head is already almost the size it's gonna be the day you're born. It grows a small amount in comparison to the rest of your body, and that is what makes things cute. And then of course there's the why, and that's a little bit more speculative, but there is some good research to show that things tend to be cute because it makes us want to take care of them. We look at it, go, oh, and you want to take care of it. And for human babies, that is a really great evolutionary adaptation to look so cute that any person will want to take care of it. It improves the baby's chance of surviving to reproductive age and thus would be selected for. So there's even some evidence that the cry of a baby, that particular pitch is pitched exactly to get into our brain and make us want to go help the thing that's crying. Now, when I hear that high-pitched keen of a screaming, crying, whining baby or human toddler, it's like someone's driving an ice pick directly into the supremely annoyed center of my brain. But I've never claimed to be normal. Most people, that elicits a protective response. They want to find that baby and they want to help that baby. And there's some evidence that cat meows and cat calls, not cat calls like a guy, yelling at a woman from a construction site. Like cats actually meowing. Hits kind of that same pitch and makes us want to take care of cats, a decent evolutionary adaptation for the domesticated cat. So now I'm going to introduce a word that a lot of you may not have heard before, and I'll put it up here on the screen, like right there, like here. The word is neoteny. Now there's cuteness, which is juvenile characteristics. Big head compared to small body and stubby little arms and legs, big eyes, everything I've just been talking about. Then there's neoteny, which is maintaining juvenile characteristics into adulthood. Now think about little girl, that kitten, when she grows up. She's not going to be that same neotenous proportion. She'll look more like this. This is Dean. He's named for Dean Winchester. He has small head compared to the rest of his body. He doesn't like being held like this. His legs are long. He's shaped like a grown-up cat. He's still cute. He's still cute. He's still my Dean. Yes, he is. But he is not even a little bit neotenous when compared to those kittens. Now this happens to humans. You, if you're watching this in America or Western Europe, are probably neotenous in one very specific way, especially if you're a grown-up and you can still eat ice cream and drink milk. If you're lactose tolerant as an adult, that is a neotenous characteristic. In other places, parts of the world where cows were not domesticated the way they were in Western Europe, where they didn't drink lactose-containing milk all the time, most adults grow out of lactose tolerance. They become lactose intolerant. Human children and babies are all lactose tolerant, but maintaining that quality as an adult is a neotenous characteristic. Dogs are covered in neotenous characteristics. Lots of specific breeds are super neotenous, especially if they have a little mushy face and a big head and a little body like a pug or a French bulldog, which comes with its own problems. The brachycephalic flatness of the dog's face gets infections in the folds and they can't breathe really well. Like, I love bulldogs, but they're just all messed up in the face and stuff because we bred them to be super neotenous, but their behavior is also neotenous. Adult dogs behave more like adolescent wolves and wolf puppies. And there's some evidence to suggest that we bred that into them specifically because that kind of friendliness, that playfulness, that openness to socialization with humans is what makes a dog a dog. And it's one of the major things that separates them from their wolf cousins. Now, dogs are wolves. They're a subspecies of wolves, but they're different enough, and that is one of the primary ways. Neotenous behavioral characteristics. There's a fairly famous animal breeding experiment from Russia that shows just how important these behavioral characteristics actually are. In 1959, a Russian scientist was trying to see how quickly, with a massive breeding program, you could domesticate a wild animal. Now, we knew it took thousands of years probably for dogs and cats to get domesticated over a long time span, not really aiming at it, it just kind of happening, and maybe we helped it along a little bit. Well, this guy set in 1959 to figure out just how quickly it could happen if you were doing it intentionally. It happened way more quickly than he could have possibly imagined. He was working with foxes, and he started with wild foxes, about 1,300 of them, and he selected the 10%, the 130 foxes that were the most pro-social with humans, that showed those neotenous behavioral characteristics, that were happiest and nicest around humans. In just a few generations, some of them were wagging their tails. In about 20 generations, he had foxes that were behaving almost exactly like dogs. Now, the process is continuing. They have tens of thousands of these bred, fully domesticated foxes in less than a century. Really, it only took a couple of decades for them to become fully domesticated. And each generation is a little friendlier and a little friendlier. And what's really cool is that these neotenous behavioral characteristics are genetically linked to certain physical traits. In Russia, they were breeding only for behavior. And they ended up, in a few decades, with these friendly foxes who had curly tails, floppy ears. Instead of solid colors, they would have spots around their eyes or stripes or spots or things like domesticated dogs. And it's well known that in domestic dogs, things like curly tails and floppy ears and differentiated coat patterns are neotenous physical characteristics. So breeding just for pro-human behavior, those foxes became physically more like dogs. Their behavior became cuter, and that was tied genetically to their appearances even becoming cuter, which is really kind of cool when you think about it. So just some food for thought this week. I bet most people weren't even aware that there is such a thing as the science of cuteness, but there's a lot of science of cuteness. Not just how things are cute, but why things are cute and how you can maintain that cuteness even when that thing becomes an adult. So next week, I'll be back with a bit of a recap, some of the big science stories that Aaron and I missed during our long hiatus to get the new website going and put together all those cool videos we've been posting recently. I hope you like those, by the way. They're pretty neat. So I'll see you next week, and until then, this has been Constant Science. I am Don with Explosions Incorporated. 'Cause I'm a man of constant science. Man of constant science. Man of constant science. Watch me do my show. If you like stuff that can make you think, then click on these video links. So as not to be bitter, follow Facebook and Twitter. We're always at Explosions Inc. Coming up, so you may not be here. You okay, Fred? Got something in your eye. Oh, that's better. There you go. How you like that? Okay. Stop chewing on my network cable, please.